Right, let's go to our Twitter questions then, because we have lots. As usual, we are going to answer 2 basketball questions per every non-basketball question.
Yeah, my favorite. Okay, first basketball question. What is the 1, 2, and 3 year ceiling of the Raptors if we keep most of this team together, especially seeing how successful the Celtics have been doing just that in terms of keeping their core?
Yeah, that's so I really like this question. This is why I had it as the number one to address. I think 1 year ceiling, as in like what's the ceiling next year, I don't think it's that different from what it is this year. I think ideally if you make it to the playoffs completely healthy, which is very difficult. I think for a lot of teams, they weren't able to do that. And also over the course of the playoffs, you usually lose at least one player, right, at some point. I think the 1 year ceiling in terms of like what's going to happen next season will probably to make the second round, to win the first round, I would say. Making it into the conference finals, I guess, is possible, but I really would need to see a few things start to really break. I'm not ruling that out, but I think most realistic ceiling is second round. I think, I don't know, 2 year ceiling. 2 year ceiling is a little tough. 2 year ceiling is mostly like, okay, what are you going to do in free agency with Gary Trent and with
Fred as well?
Fred as well. Yeah. Are you going to re-sign those guys? If you do choose to re-sign those guys, or if you don't choose to re-sign those guys, who are you replacing them with, right? Because you're not just going to let talent walk away for nothing. Is it going to be a sign and trade? All sorts of other stuff. So 2 year ceiling is very hard for me to pick. 3 year ceiling, honestly, at that point, I kind of do expect Scottie to be in that all-star conversation. And yeah, at that point, you have 2 all-stars, him, Pascal. Who knows what Fred's going to be at that point, but Fred obviously was an all-star level this year. My expectations would be conference finals.
Yeah, I think that's fair, and I think that's a optimistic outlook.
Is it?
On the path? Because, I mean,
we made the conference finals with Louis Scola and DeMar Carroll starting.
I know, but I think this is all hinges on Scottie's development, which I know we're going to talk about. And I think it just hinges on what this team's going to look like in 2-3 years, too. Because I really don't think all the pieces are still going to be here. I think you make a really good point about next season. I think next season people are going to be holding the Raptors to the standard of what they reached this year, just in terms of like the results, like win total, 48 wins. And it's possible, it's realistic that they could take a step back. They could be a 42, 45 win team. Like, I don't think it's guaranteed that this team...
So what would happen, though? Like, give me the scenario. This is like the opposite of a dream. This is like a nightmare.
Yeah. For me, it's a very simple scenario for me. It's just that if the Eastern Conference just gets more competitive.
Who's coming to join the Eastern Conference?
Let's see. So we've got Boston next year is going to be good.
Yeah.
Miami's good. Yeah, but like, what about just like random things that you can't account for? Just like injuries and things like that too, though, right?
I mean,
I'm just saying, year to year, things change.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, there's nobody on the team that's like injury prone.
Sure.
No one's had a recurring injury.
I'm just saying like the unpredictability of like year to year. I'm not saying that like, oh, talent-wise, like they completely overachieved. But I don't know, man. I guess I'm taking kind of a negative track on this, but like, I'm with you. And I think in 3 years, we'll know if Scottie is going to become the superstar. I think that's the main thing, right?
Yeah.
And if he doesn't, because we're putting these high expectations on him, I think that's okay too. You're still going to have a really, really good player. You're just going to have to look at the team building differently in terms of, can we build around this guy?
Yeah, sure. Which actually segues nicely into our next question, which is from @OpenGymAnunobi, very active member of Raptors Twitter. What should Scottie's role look like next season? Alex, I know you a big hoop head. Answer that question for me.
I think I would like to see Scottie initiate the offense more. I was actually really impressed when he took like the quote unquote point guard duties. I actually want to see him more in that role because I think when we talk about Fred's health, if you can move Fred off ball, with Scottie on the court and not ask him to do as much, I actually think there's a lot of value there. And I want them to start shaping Scottie to be able to really take on these roles when it comes to big games and when it comes to playoff time. Because why can't Scottie be the primary ball handler at the end of a close game in a playoff game? Like, I would love to see him in that position. And that's still with Fred on the court, still with the rest of the guys on the court, because, we've seen the playmaking aside from the no-look passes. I love for them to really develop him on that side, like on the offensive end of the floor. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I mean, that's probably what most people want to see as well, myself included. I actually think it's not really coming out of Fred's account. It's probably going to be the question of how much can Scotty handle the ball while Pascal's on the floor.
Okay.
Because we know Fred can be effective off ball. We know because he's such a good shooter, because he's really good at moving without the ball as well. There's actual value to him being off the ball. There is not much value in Pascal and Scotty being off the ball right now. So you're pretty much only going to give the ball to the guy who, well, not only, I guess, but you're probably going to give the ball to the guy who can create more with, right now, and that's clearly Pascal.
Okay.
So I don't know. I mean, like, I guess you could play Fred exclusively off ball if you really wanted to, or you can take away most of what Fred does in his pick and roll creation, which honestly, like, you might say, well, that's not that effective of a play. That's true, but Fred also drives like 14 times a game when healthy. So you're going to need to replicate that with 14 drives. Is Scotty ready to drive 14 times a game? Is he going to be able to get downhill 14? If he is, then absolutely, go ahead.
But let's see it. Let's see if we can do it,
Yeah.
Let's see if we can
I actually think the touches will probably come out of Pascal's account, not
okay.
Fred's.
No, that's interesting. And I always defer to you because you watch basketball. There's another one, too, that we should tack on.
Sure.
Are we putting Scotty in a difficult position by putting such high expectations on his next couple of years? Seems like a decent amount of time for a young player to become an all-star.
Well, how do I say this? There's a stereotype about Asian parenting.
Okay, which one? Yeah.
No, I mean, listen, that's how I expect out of all the players. Like, I expect a lot of that.
He's earned the expectations, I would say.
Yeah, when you win Rookie of the Year, the expectation is, okay, maybe this guy's going to turn into something really good.
No one's putting these expectations on Jalen Suggs. Like, you have to earn
what
these
are the expectations of Jalen Suggs, actually?
I don't know. I don't want to
apparently,
talk about
apparently his friendship with Chet Holmgren might determine what Orlando might do with the number 1 pick.
Yeah. That's why I think the Raptors are going to win 42 games next year, because those Orlando games are going to...
Yeah.
It's going to be tough.
It's different when they have Chet Holmgren.
You know how the Raptors can win 50 games?
Yeah.
Beat Dwayne Casey, please. Number one on my wish list. It's actually bothered me. We got to sit on this for the whole summer. He swept us.
Okay, well, Dwayne's prepping right now.
Dwayne's like, I did what Philly couldn't, Swept them.